So it's interesting looking at new varieties, new product development in the UK market, and there wasn't a lot happening. You seem to see a lot more about driving the mainstream varieties, bigger facings, more communication about, red, green, cookers perhaps, pears, more value adding in terms of ripe and ready, and actually protecting pears. One of the barriers to consumers purchasing pears is always they don't know when it's ripe. So taking out some of that uncertainty for customers, which does mean adding more cost to the product, but you've got to put it on a tray and you've got to flow wrap it. But it looked like there was a lot of work going on in terms of trying to reinvigorate the pear category. Looking at new varieties and apples, Marks and Spencer's, which has recently come out with a new format, new food halls, which are being rolled out. And this is a sort of a medium-sized store which has a lot more convenience, a lot more grab and go, and as Marks and Spencer's always do, they the higher quality, higher price, a range of premium products in there as well. And they've got a new variety of apple which is exclusive to them, which is called Kissabel. It's a red flesh apple, so it really is a point of difference. Orchards are pretty young, 2 to 3 year old trees, so perhaps the flavour profile isn't quite there, but certainly from a visual perspective, a red flesh was very different to anything else on the shelf at the moment.
I think most consumers understand that food costs something and actually that they're prepared to pay a price for it, especially if you can tell a story about it, especially if you can upsell it. And at the moment the market really is dominated by us really focusing on the price alone and forgetting the story part of it. And I really don't think that's something that can continue for the long term, and that has, I think, big implications for the Australian market. But interestingly, from what I've seen, I did an interview with Mark Landini of Landini Associates, and they've done a lot of the work. They're a Sydney-based company. They've done a lot of work in the redesign of Aldi stores in Australia. And it's interesting to me there that Aldi actually is telling a story about some of its products. It is trying to connect to the local neighbourhood. It is trying to kind of give all of those kind of issues that actually shoppers respond to, and they're not just about the price that you pay for products.
We're in a Aldi now, and it's interesting to see that it's actually very similar to a range that you'd find in a Tesco's or Sainsbury's. You can see that in the apple fixture here, it's actually really promoting British fruit. There's Union Jacks over everything. They sponsored the Olympic team, but really, the offering of Aldi is getting much more similar to the main format supermarkets of Tesco's and Sainsbury's. So take that across to Australia, the likelihood is we'll see the same. Aldi increasing its range. It's about 1,500 product lines in Australia at the moment. That's going to increase and get bigger, and you're going to get a fuller offering of fresh produce.
Product is often coming from the same supplier. So we've got Pink Lady apples here, which are identical to those ones I saw at Tesco. If anything, they're a slightly better size, these ones, and the price is lower. I don't necessarily think that the shopper comes to an Aldi because they're attracted necessarily only by the lower price. They're actually attracted by the fact that the quality is more than acceptable. In fact, it's very, very good. And they enjoy the shop. I mean, the shop experience. It's a smaller store. It has everything you want. You can get in and get out relatively easily. It's perhaps less chaotic. There's less choice, but actually you're quite happy with the choice that is available. You can phone Deliveroo and get an Aldi shop delivered to your front door by motorbike.
And online is something in Australia that Aldi hasn't actually gone down that route, and certainly through COVID they looked at it, I imagine, very closely. It's probably not something they'll do in the near term, but I imagine it's on the radar.
Because food shopping should be a wonderful experience, and for many people I don't think it really is. It's something that they find a bit of a chore, which is a shame.